I'm really compelled by this idea of perpetuation of the species and what that looks like. As my understanding right now, we're not really at a global village, but we do have basically, especially in the Western world, is terms are often dictated by international corporations or the global corporation village. But it's incumbent for us to evolve as a species that is able to be independent of the planet. We're going to have to resolve some of our self-defeating and nihilistic behaviors. Right now we're in the space of a nation state, right, type of thing. This is a classic example with the world economy, because as Martin Luther King, we are interconnected. And I think at some point in time, this whole idea of currency is going to have to be visited, and there's going to have to be another system for exchange other than currency as we know it. There's going to have to be some system exchange, but the type of ideation that we are bonded to now in terms of exchange for goods and services is not satisfying the needs to perpetuate the species. And because of man's inclination for greed and selfishness, emerging states and third world states, which Africa, countries in Africa that have tremendous amount of resources, but because of the political dynamics, they're either being squandered or they're in the hands of the few. Even in the United States, less than 1% of the people have over 97% of the wealth. And then we have politicians who have a problem with redistributing the wealth. Well, you know, being part Indian and stuff, I mean, it kind of, what do you need beyond what you need? We have an abundance, and if we distributed it properly and educated our people, virtually everybody could live in a mansion. So it has to come down to a matter of a lust for power and social control, which is not in our best interest, because we have to work as a global unit to perpetuate the species. So that's what I'm trying to get to, is through the magazine and some of the work I do with youth and children, to give them this idea and to engender to other people that, you know, there is such a thing as a higher good. Man does have a noble spirit that can be aspired to. And like Kennedy said, is all that needs for evil to overcome good is for good men to stand by and do nothing.
Now, Mr. Bell, if you could talk about, you know, how the beloved community journal is different from, you know, other journals that are published in the Northwest, or?
Well, basically, the category I was were social commentary magazine. That's one thing. Many of your more popular magazines generally tend to be lifestyles or sports. And then a lot of your social commentary magazines, take Brainstorm, were conservative. Another thing about it is that we have a very strong advertising base that goes across the whole, transcends basically most of your society. We have people like Les Schwab, which is conservative, but they have legitimate interests in community and the Puritan work ethic. We also have PDC, we have different mom and pops, we have quite a few churches, but the goal is to focus on those of us who would want to arrive at the beloved community, to try to educate the community about their resources, individuals, groups, and agencies that are working for the betterment of mankind. So I heard this is another magazine that came out lately. It's called Good. What I see how we differ from them is that we're not necessarily a feel-good type of journalism. Hopefully, we adhere to the type of Edward R. Murrow type journalism that trying to be objective through a progressive lens that we can understand what we're up against. See what I mean? And by making a call to action that those of us who would stand for the betterment and the best interests of humankind would respond to that call to action.